Hello, and thank you so much for being so patient with me and more importantly with United Airlines, who told me there was weather when I was sitting in Washington. And I'm not sure where the weather was because it's absolutely beautiful all the way up. Anyway, we're here, we're all here now, and we can relax a little bit. It's a real pleasure to be here. In fact, I go on Twitter and I tweeted today that I was coming to Sandwich tonight and said, I must make sure I have a sandwich while I'm here. And I had this long reply of people saying, why don't you organize your book tours so that they always stop at places that have food in the name, like Dijon and Stilton, and I said yes, and then of course the drink, Bordeaux, Saint-Emilion, sounds perfect. And then somebody, in fact Joanne Harris, who wrote Chocolat, wanted to know what kind of sandwich I was going to have in Sandwich. So Vicki has prepared a sandwich for me afterwards, and I don't know what it is. But then a little bookstore, another independent bookstore, I love supporting independence as much as possible, especially in this day and age. So that's why I'm delighted that Tikkun invited me very happy to come. But Sandwich, a little bookseller in Sandwich, England, tweeted and said, if you come to us, we'll give you better sandwiches. So, Vicki, that better be a mighty good sandwich, because I think we've got some sandwich wars going on here, very much between America and the UK. I'll let you know how it turns out. I'm here tonight to talk about my most recent novel. I was at an exhibition of William Blake's work and thought, this man was so crazy, I have to write about him. Well, in this instance, with Remarkable Creatures, I was in a dinosaur museum with my son in southern England, with my son who was 7 at the time, and he was at the tail end of his dinosaur craze that every kid goes through. And we went around this little place, and in a corner I saw a display about a woman named Mary Anning. This is what the display looked like. This is what I did when I published the novel. The very first day when it came out, they asked me to go back to the museum and do a photo shoot. So they said, could you please read to the mannequin the things they make you do? She loved it, of course, yes. So I saw all this information about this woman named Mary Anning, and I had never heard of her. And what I discovered was that she was a working class woman in early 19th century England, lived in Lyme Regis, and discovered some of the first dinosaur fossils in the United Kingdom. And I thought she was a remarkable woman. I had never heard of her, but she made amazing discoveries and was very influential on the scientific circle of the time. And more importantly, something else very exciting happened to her, which made me think, I need to write about this because it's the perfect beginning of a novel. And that's what I'm going to start with tonight, the first reading, very short, from the very beginning. This is how the book starts. Lightning has struck me all my life. Just once was it real. I shouldn't remember it, for I was little more than a baby. But I do remember. I was in a field where there were horses and riders performing tricks. Then a storm blew in, and a woman picked me up and brought me under a tree. As she held me tight, I looked up and saw the pattern of black leaves against a white sky. Then there was a noise, like all the trees falling down round me, and a bright, bright light, which was like looking at the sun. A buzz ran right through me. It was as if I touched a hot coal, and I could smell singed flesh and sense there was pain, yet it weren't painful. I felt like a stocking turned inside out. Others began pulling at me and calling, but I couldn't make a sound. I was carried somewhere. Then there was warmth all around, not a blanket, but wet. I knew where I was because it was water, and I knew water. Our house was close to the sea. I could see it from our windows. Then I opened my eyes, and it feels like they haven't been shut since. The lightning killed the woman holding me and the 2 girls standing next to her, but I survived. They say I was a quiet, sickly child before the storm, but after it, I grew up lively and alert. I cannot say if they're right, but the memory of that lightning still runs through me like a shiver. It marks powerful moments of my life, seeing the first crocodile skull my brother found, and finding its body myself, discovering other monsters on the beach, meeting Colonel Birch. Other times, I'll feel the lightning strike and wonder why it's come. Sometimes I don't understand, but accept what the lightning tells me, for the lightning is me. It entered me when I was a baby and never left. I feel an echo of the lightning each time I find a fossil, a little jolt that says, yes, Mary Anning, you are different from all the rocks on the beach. That is why I'm a hunter, to feel that bolt of lightning and that difference every day.
This is the official portrait of her, painted after she died. But I much prefer this portrait, which is not a portrait, it's more a sketch. A friend of hers did it, and I love it because she's got a top hat on. And that was to protect her from the falling rocks from the cliffs. And she discovered what we now know is an ichthyosaur. It's a marine reptile, 200 million years old. But when she and her brother found it, they thought that it was a crocodile because they didn't know any better. They didn't know what it could possibly be. So they assumed it was a crocodile, but then they discovered it has an eye that big, and crocodiles don't have such big eyes. And it also has paddles, and crocodiles don't have them. But eventually, scientific men took the specimen away, started studying it, and writing about it, and realized it was actually a creature that existed long before anything we knew.